Well, the events that led me to write this book together with my friend Davide Donelli are in fact especially interesting. As I was researching the topic of mirror neurons, I thought to myself, my goodness, this is really difficult. It was very hard and I knew I needed to research it because this was part of my role as a coach, to help me understand other people's emotions and mine as well. So I said, my dear Davide, this subject is really complex. What shall we do? And Davide said, well, we ought to somehow translate it, try and explain it to people. So at that stage we wondered, why don't we write a book on the subject? Possibly a simple book that may convey a rather complicated scientific finding in practical terms. Sometimes, when you read through the scientific literature available on the topic, you come across truly difficult words. So this is why we thought we would make the matter as simple as possible, also with the aid of pictures to help readers understand our explanations. And speaking about goals, I also had another one. My work has to do with training and development. I am a coach, and I feel that, as part of my job, there is a lot that needs to be learned from this point of view. The topic of mirror neurons can have a revolutionary impact for professional coaches like me, but also for anyone who works with other people. Think of teachers, for instance, who have to work with young people in their classrooms, or motivators who use specific techniques to help other people reach their goals. First of all, they need to understand their own feelings. This is the crucial factor that led me to write the book, Io sono il tuo specchio, I am your mirror. Who is it meant for? It is meant for everyone. That's exactly so, for everyone. With our unsophisticated approach, we wondered, if my grandmother, who is 90, were to read this book, would she understand it? Well, we tried. We presented the draft book to my grandmother. She read it and then said, I'm not really sure. Sometimes I don't understand, but the overall sense is clear to me. So, good heavens! I can influence other people with my feelings? So, my grandmother got it, and this was the green light we needed. This means that our book is really meant for everybody, irrespective of age, and if younger people have difficulties understanding it, the older ones will be able to explain it to them, because the tools we offer in this book are practical, straightforward, and can be found in everyday life. We experience mirror neurons all the time, just as we experience our own emotions and those of other people. So we have successfully reached our goal, that of designing the subject matter of our research for everyone. In fact, everybody is the subject matter expert of our book. Our aim is to put into practice, or rather translate into a practical language, the complex scientific discovery concerning mirror neurons. I am using the word complex because the existing literature explains it in scientific terms. So our purpose was to translate it for everyone, as mentioned earlier. Now, what did we decide to do at this stage? We decided to divide the book into two parts. The first part, of a scientific nature, is designed to translate in the easiest way possible, also through pleasant or funny cartoons, the scientific discovery itself. Here we explain a bit how the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system work, and what neurons and mirror neurons are. After this shorter part comes the second one. The second part is of a practical nature and addresses the point, why is this scientific discovery of interest for me? Well, it is explained. Because we come into contact with mirror neurons and our mirror system every day. And what does all of this involve? This is explained in the second part, which we have also designed in an amusing way in order to be able to appreciate what this extraordinary discovery means on a daily basis. To be honest, I'm asked this question by a lot of people. We didn't actually persuade him. Let's put it this way, we were very lucky to get his approval. We showed up, Davide Donelli and I, at the professor's office, and he agreed to see us, which was in itself a success for us. We introduced ourselves and explained our project to him. At first he said, Gentlemen, you are not scientists. You may have to give it up. But in the meantime, let me have a look. If you write something, maybe you can bring it here. And that's what we did. A year later, we turned up with our draft book and said, Professor, here it is. Maybe you can quickly skim through it, check if it's all right, or if there are any mistakes. After 6 months, the professor called us. We couldn't believe it and told us, Look, gentlemen, the work you have produced is nice. I like it. It flows. It is also amusing, so it is all right for me. And it is also well done from a scientific point of view. At this point, try and imagine 2 young men between 20 and 30 facing a neuroscience giant like Professor Giacomo Rizzolatti, the discoverer of mirror neurons. Imagine the looks on our faces. We were surprised and absolutely thrilled about this piece of news. And at that stage, a bit of youthful impudence led us to say, Professor, would you also write the foreword? And what did he say? He said, All right, I will. This was extraordinary for us. At that point, the professor said, If you also find a publisher who has the guts to publish your book for you, you will have won the jackpot. And we actually did win the jackpot, because we found a publisher, and a few days ago this publisher even said, Folks, we are going to the United States. Well, one thing leads to another. These things also happen in life. And we are young Italians, new to such extraordinary subject matter, are now in the United States with Io sono il tuo specchio, Neuroni specchio ed empatia, I am your mirror. What more could we have possibly wished for? Oh yes, of course! And this was indeed our purpose. Producing a tool that people may somehow look up as many times as they wished. You know, there are some people who call me and say, Do you know that I read it a bit at a time? I read a few pages here and there, a few pages today, a few pages another day, and I remember things. For us, this is a very important change in our everyday way of being. So, if you ask me what may change every day as a result of reading our book, I can tell you exactly. Think of when you get back home after a really stressful day and difficult at work, possibly doing a job you dislike. In your opinion, do the other people, your family members, realize how you're feeling? In fact, with our face, our look, and our facial expressions, we communicate everything, and this is immediately interpreted by others. It is conveyed to others also through our body language. There's no need to say things, they get it first. Others understand things directly from the look on our face. This is important, and it is thanks to mirror neurons that we also experience other people's expressions and feelings. So it will be important not to arrive home with a desperate look, but to try and change our state of mind. Family are the most important people in our life, which means it is a worthwhile effort. Also, when young people take a major exam at university or at school, and their emotions cause them to be tongue-tied, you know? They are stuck because they are too nervous, too shy, even though they might have been prepared for the test. But not being able to utter a word will result in a bad mark, and this isn't fair. It is important that also, at school, people understand the importance of emotions. Another example could be when we are having a job interview, and it is a job we would love to do, but we appear insecure, uncertain, possibly anxious and stressed. This has a terrible effect, which is why it is important to understand and acknowledge our state of mind. Our book contains many practical tools which also allow us to understand that. If we get to work in the morning and find a colleague who is sad, anxious, or stressed, this somehow changes our day, and it isn't fair that this should happen. This is emotional contagion, and we need to be absolutely aware of it. Companies can no longer afford people who spread negative emotions because, thanks to the mirror system, or as a result of it, others are somehow infected by them. This is why, also in my job as a trainer and coach, I teach company staff daily how important it is to manage our state of mind, since this heavily affects other people's emotions. And what about you? Do you wish to work in a happy environment, or one that is depressing and upsetting? Well, think about it, because in the evening we will be going back home to our loved ones, our family. There you are. Our book offers some tools to understand these extremely important dynamics. Empathy is the ability to understand other people's emotions. And when we also manage to understand our own emotions, we will have really won the game in communication and interpersonal relations. Thank you, and enjoy reading I Am Your Mirror.